Good day everybody and welcome to a new episode of JY Heating Tech. We are talking today about cleaning systems and how important to clean the system, central heating system and pipework and radiators prior to a new installation. System cleaning is covered by the British Standard 7593 of 2019, but it is not a legal requirement. That British Standard just gives you the code of practice as best practice. But if you go back to the manufacturer's instructions, which supersede all the building regulations and the gas regulations, every boiler manufacturer will stipulate that systems have to be cleaned thoroughly and tested before installing a new boiler. Cleaning central heating systems, radiators and pipework prior to installing a new boiler have a lot of benefits. Basically, to reduce the gas consumption, because then whatever heat the boiler is producing gets transferred to the radiators or the hot water cylinder, and it will increase the efficiency of the system as such. Also, any new boiler, if there is a lot of debris and gunge inside the system, that debris and gunge will be transformed inside the boiler and will cause component failure inside the boiler. Also, it will shorten the life of the boiler. What I usually see from customers when I go and fix their boilers and I tell them that the system water is dirty, and I show them why that boiler part or component has failed, and I ask them if the system has been cleaned prior to installation, I get a lot of comments from customers saying the installer gave me a quote for labor and materials, and cleaning the system was an extra. And because it was a lot of money, I opted not to do it. What installers fail to mention to the customer that it is a must and a requirement by the manufacturer's instructions. So these estimates introduced or shown to the customer should not have power flush as an extra, because any boiler manufacturer, if you go to the instructions manual and the manufacturer's instructions, sometimes they're even stuck in front of the boiler, you'll find out that they will say the system has to be clean. There are two methods of cleaning the system. First of them is chemical cleaning, and the second one is a power flush. Depending on the age of the system, the condition of the pipework and the radiators, it is very difficult to draw a line. Where do I do power flushing and where do I leave it as a chemical flush? Because what the cleaning consists of as a first stage is introducing an acidic chemical to the system. Let it run through so it will get rid of the debris, and then you flush all that dirt out. If the radiators are pitted, they are old, or they are in a sorry condition, then I cannot do power flushing, because it will create pinholes in the radiators, which means that radiator had to be thrown away and replaced, and which is not good, because then I've created more of an issue than I've actually sorted it out. Generally speaking, chemical cleaning is done to all systems, and what we will do is we'll introduce a chemical in there. I'm giving you an example as a Fernox F3, which is a mild cleaner, or an Fernox F5. It's a brand name, but Fernox F3 is a mild cleaner. Fernox F5 is a stronger cleaner. You inject it into the system, into one of the radiators, leave the system to run for about 2 weeks, and then drain it down multiple times. That will get rid of the chemical and the dirt. It is not a preferred method. I personally, as an installer, would only use it as a last resort due to the old age of the system. The preferred method is a power flush. A power flush will involve a machine. It's a big machine with a small water tank and a pump, and you connect it in line with your central heating system, and then run water in there in the system, put your chemical in the system, which is, let's say, for example, a Fernox F5, and let it run and circulate, so the water and the chemical will travel to all the pipework and all the radiators in the property, and then run it for about 15 minutes, close all the radiators, leave one open, because if you do not do that, what will happen is the water will travel with the cleaner to the nearest radiator because it will find the path of least resistance, and then we'll end up cleaning one radiator. So once the chemical is all around, you'll shut all the radiators, keep one open, keep the water and the chemical cleaner flowing in there for about another 15 minutes, drain it down, introduce fresh water until you carry on this step until you'll get the water cleared from there. And then shut that radiator 1 down, open radiator 2 and repeat the process, shut 2, open 3 until all the radiators are cleaned. Once the installer is satisfied that clean water is coming out of all the radiators and the pipework, that means your system is clean. It needs to be flushed with fresh water a couple of times to get rid of the acidic chemicals. And then I have to introduce, or the installer will have to introduce, white crystals, which are alkaline, to neutralize the remains of all the acid in the water. That has to also circulate into the whole system and the radiators for about another 15 to 20 minutes. That gets flushed out with fresh water a couple of times to get rid of that chemical. With the fresh water, I will introduce an inhibitor to circulate into the system. That inhibitor is in a fixed amount. It all depends on the size of the radiator, size of the system and the pipework. Another example of an inhibitor, which is a brand name, Phenox F1. That inhibitor will slow down the corrosion inside the radiators, and because most systems are sealed, it's going to stay for a long time. After finishing all of that, the installer should take a water sample from the system, test it for pH level, which will give him an indication of whether the system water is acidic, alkaline, or neutral. For the customer's information, tap water or water is pH neutral. It's neither acidic nor neutral. But in real life, we can't get that neutrality all over. As close as possible to a neutral water, inhibitor will be introduced, and then a new boiler will be installed. The purpose of the inhibitor, which I'm just giving you an example, is Phenox F1, it's a brand name, is to slow down the corrosion of the radiators from inside, which will create black sludge and gunge into the system, and it's that small pieces of metal. It will slow down that corrosion and keep the system as clean and healthy as possible. The other thing that most manufacturers now will give you extra warranty on the boiler if you install it is an inline filter, which should be installed on the return pipe to the boiler. That inline filter is like a bottle with a very strong magnet inside it. Because we can't do chemical cleaning or power flushing 100%, there is no such thing in life. There will be some bits and pieces of metal, of sludge in the system. They'll go through that bottle. The actual magnet will catch them, so that will prevent any debris or all debris to go into the boiler, and the system will be clean and efficient. The inline filter should be looked at periodically and cleaned. It doesn't need any replacement parts. All you need to do is take it out, wash the magnet underneath the tap. Once it's clean, you put it back. Also, part of the boiler service, the person who's carrying out the service should check with the litmus paper the pH level of the system water, and he will check also should the inhibitor level in the system, and will give you better information to keep that inhibitor topped up and the system healthy. Thanks everybody for watching this video, and I hope somebody has benefited from it. And if you have any issues you want me to shed light about them concerning central heating or hot water domestic gas boilers, please do leave in the comments, and we'll try and do something about it, or do a small episode, or we'll answer if it's something simple that doesn't need a video. We'll do it in the comments. Thank you very much and have a nice day. I hope somebody has benefited from this.